Yavuz Beydar is the editor-in-chief of Aval, a trilingual independent online news site on Turkey. He joins me now live for more. The Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has tried to soothe the anger in the wake of this quake by touring devastated sites, regularly addressing the nation on television. The earthquake struck in a region in which Erdogan enjoyed strong support in the last national election in 2018. What kind of reaction has there been from the Turkish people to Erdogan's reaction to the quake now?
The anger is growing. First 72 hours, of course, everyone was more hopeful about rescuing their loved ones, their relatives, or neighborhood people. But now that that deadline has passed, now we see sort of a growing wave of anger and frustration, and most of them will be directed at the government, Erdogan symbolizing it, of course. But the lack of media coverage, up to 90% of the Turkish media is under direct control of the government. We are not sure how much that perception is there coming from the crowds.
You mentioned that the media is controlled by the government. I was going to ask you about press freedom. Last October, Turkey's parliament adopted this law under which journalists and social media users could be jailed for spreading disinformation. And so far, since the quake, Turkey has arrested close to 80 people over their social media posts.
That's true. And also most of the frustration and anger from government side are directed to what they call disinformation for a week now, and the people are intimidated, and the critique is measured, and there is quite a lot of self-censorship going on in the Turkish media.
Now, President Erdogan is hoping to extend his rule into a third decade in polls that are set for May, just a few months from now. What do we think about the effect of the earthquake now? Could that vote be delayed?
That's a growing debate as well. Erdogan is cornered. That is the severest challenge, politically speaking, that he faces. And the Turkish constitution does not allow the governments to postpone elections unless there's a state of war. There are no other clauses. So main opposition, particularly today, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, the leader, said, you don't even think about postponing the elections because constitution is clear. And also the eyes are on the High Electoral Board, because there were rumors that Erdogan government would ask the High Electoral Board to come with a statement that the elections in the 10 provinces or 11 provinces would be impossibly to be held under those circumstances. But this debate will be very poisonous, and it will add to the tensions, because nobody really knows what Erdogan will do in such a situation. We have never seen this before.
You said that this is a real political challenge for Erdogan. He's survived many challenges over the past 2 decades, 2.5 decades. Would you say that this could be the biggest political challenge of his career so far?
Well, yes, that would definitely be the case, because he has always had some odds beneficial to him. But this time, only instruments that he has is the security forces, and judiciary, which he controls, and the media, as I mentioned it. And on the other side, growing anger from bottom to top, and also parts of the opposition already making it clear that the elections will be held at latest June 18. That is the ordinary date. But on the other hand, there are debates and discussions about how this will be possible, because there are villages, towns, and large parts of at least 3 cities wiped out. How will it be possible to set up ballot boxes there? How will people be counted? Will there be fraud? All of these questions are also coming into the arguments. So I think this is a very tricky situation for the political class of Turkey. Postponement will be on the agenda, but how? Nobody, as of today, has any idea how this will be happening.
Right. And of course, in addition to what you were saying about just the logistical problems of trying to have a vote in the midst of all of this destruction, there's also just the pure anger of the population. Erdogan has said he wants to start rebuilding. He wants to start building 30,000 homes starting next month. But what about all the controversy surrounding the security of the buildings that collapsed in the quake? Arrests have already been made.
Arrests are already been made. The pattern emerging now is that culprits or scapegoats will be limited to contractors. That is the pattern emerging now. Politicians, there have been no resignations from the government or departments or institutions, which is also part of the severe critique now. But I think more time passes, the more anger coming onto the stage, and that will be the another big unknown. How Erdogan, so far successful to manage the crisis, will be able to steer it into his favor. That is a big, big question mark.
Yavuz Baydar, editor-in-chief of Aval, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us.